Well, hello you all. I think today I am going to talk about my thoughts about SirenCon. So what do I want to say first? Let's see, oh yeah, how about this? I think SirenCon is amazing. There's some things about SirenCon that I love, and some of them that I kind of feel I think can be better. But before I get into that, I just want to say what I like about SirenCon is I think the best part is you get to meet with different siren enthusiasts, especially if you're part of the siren community and you love, you love the community and such. Although there are some people that are, let's just say ones that you're not exactly crazy about and such like that. And believe me or not, there were some that were at SirenCon that are, let's just say like the ones that I like to stay away from. But that doesn't mean I'm going to mention names. But here's the thing though. At least as far as I know, everyone in this at SirenCon, I believe, behaved themselves. Or at least around me they did anyways. So I can't complain about that. But here's the thing. What's cool about SirenCon is that you have a better chance, and even if you already heard them all, you at least have a better chance of being able to hear sirens that you have not yet heard in person yet. And I got a chance to be able to have that opportunity, actually, because there were a couple sirens at SirenCon that I've always wanted to hear in person and finally got the chance to. One of them is an analog 6000R. One of them is a digital electronic, both in dual tone, and that was impressive. But another one would be that 500T, the one that used to be from Lombard, Illinois, or whatever the hell, I forgot what it was called, but it was the one that came crashing down. But it was an easy fix. But anyways, I got to hear that, so I was really impressed. But anyways, there's, and a gasoline-powered mobile directo. That's another one, too. Wow, how impressive. Or that German 3-port siren, how freaking awesome was that? But anyways, what else do I want to say? SirenCon. Oh, yeah, so I think SirenCon, unless you're skeptic about being in the community, SirenCon, I'd say, is worth it, okay? Although, there's some procedure that it takes to fill out, but it's not like it's difficult. But I think, from what I understand, you have to, when you check in online or in person or whatever, I think it's better if you do it online, just to do it ahead of time. And then you sign a waiver. That's like an agreement that they're not responsible for any thing that you damage or anything because it's on you or something or whatever, or something like that. That's basically what kind of it is. And then you make a donation. You could probably donate $1 or more or whatever. Basically it's whatever, but... And after you do that, they give you a wristband, meaning that you did what you were supposed to do, and then you're free to be at SirenCon. But you get the wristband, on the day, or at least you get it after you do that anyways. But anyways, what else do I want to say about SirenCon? I think it's, again, I think what I like the most is you get to chat with some siren enthusiasts, and, they have interests and such like that. And frankly, as a result of that, you kind of lose track of time and of the day, when it is. And you kind of don't really think about other things because you like focusing on sirens, and you talk to siren enthusiasts and such like that, and you get to see different sirens and such like that. All of that combined, I feel like, it's a good way to spend time, especially time that you never really get to do often. And I'm one of them too, unfortunately. I don't get to spend a lot of time with siren enthusiasts in person, except, on certain occasions, like presumably, preferably siren tests. Siren tests is usually the time when I would actually be spending out with siren enthusiasts. But SirenCon, I think, is that's a specialty. So I love that. I think SirenCon is wonderful. Now, just to kind of get into some of the things about SirenCon that's not exactly very good, but some of it is actually not necessarily their fault. One of them, and I'm actually glad, thanks to Josh Smurler for mentioning about this, and God bless you for that. Thank you, Josh. Mosquitoes are terrible at SirenCon, okay? You're going to go to SirenCon, please, for the love of God, bring mosquito spray. Bring mosquito spray or anything that repels mosquitoes. Lots of it, okay? They will eat you alive at SirenCon, okay? They are bad. Bad. It would be nice, I don't know, maybe they'll allow you to bring it, but you could also bring a bug zapper, too, but they didn't say, I don't remember them saying anything about prohibiting bug zappers, but, I don't see why that would be a problem, but bringing in a bug zapper, or definitely have mosquito spray, because they will eat you alive, okay? Bring mosquito spray. That is an A-must thing you have to bring at SirenCon. Even though they didn't say it's necessarily a mandatory order, but I feel that in my point of view, it should be. But again, that's just my opinion. But another thing you really need to bring at SirenCon that I also think is mandatory, is hearing protection, Now, most people have worn hearing protection, but some have not, and that's kind of on them, so I can't really judge them, but I just think it's, in my point of view, I think it's kind of dumb, but the way how I see it, when you wear hearing protection, you're safer, and at the same time, you get to enjoy the sound. That's all that matters. But, when you don't have hearing protection, just because you can tolerate noise, it's like, it may not bother you right now, but I can guarantee you this. When you get older, it's going to affect you, okay? Only time will tell, but it is going to affect you when you get older. But anyways, let's see. What's another thing about SirenCon I wanted to say? This is just only one thing that would be nice, but it's not necessarily required, because this is the campground we're talking about, okay, a scout camp. What I think would be kind of cool is if they have like a big patch of asphalt or cement, doesn't matter, big, like cement or asphalt, kind of almost similar like a parking space or parking lot sorta, where you can store your sirens, but at the same time, like when you have sirens that roll off of wheels and they dig into the ground, like on that dirt terrain that they have, although it could be a lot worse, but when you got things on wheels that roll and they dig into the ground, you're kind of screwed. And I kind of had that problem with my manual lift stacker. That's that little mini forklift that I had that I brought with me to kind of pump that. I use that to unload my siren and other heavy objects, but you can't roll it. I mean, you could roll it if it's on like solid paved asphalt or concrete terrain, as long as it's smooth enough, but you can't do it on like grass or dirt or such like that. It's like, oh man. But despite that though, my lift stacker I think came in like partially handy, because one thing I was thankful for, I forgot his name because there's too many people in the siren community, I lost track, but the guy who owns the 6M blower, I actually helped him, like, basically use my pallet that I brought with me that helps me, like, put my siren head on. I let him use my pallet to set the blower on, and basically I helped him, like, we kind of, like, moved the blower, like, from his trailer onto my pallet or something like that, and then I just lowered it gently down so that way he could put his Thunderbolt head on top, and if I remember correctly, I'd say he thanked me for that, and I feel proud of myself because I'm glad I was able to help. And I also helped another siren enthusiast give her a boost up to help her with their 3T22. But, yeah, I would say my efforts were helpful in some ways. But anyways, the terrain, that's not really SirenCon's fault. You know, it's just the campground, so it doesn't matter. But here's the part I'd like to say that I think can be better about SirenCon. It would be nice. They don't have to do it for the grand finale sirens, because the way how they did it for this year, I would say they did the right thing, okay? They kept it a secret, okay? They kept it a secret as to what kind of sirens they're gonna sound off in the grand finale, okay? So the way how they did that, I'd say they did that part right. But for the lineup sirens, like the standard lineup sirens, it would be nice if they could at least... Now, maybe they can't really do this, but it would... I just wish they could do this, is that they could have at least a solid list as to, like, what siren is... Not only what siren is going to perform, but which siren next is going to go. Like, which one is to be the next one to be, you know, sounded off next, you know, such like that. Now, they don't have to give out exactly a time, because it depends on, you know, what happens. You know, we've had some certain uncounterments that happened that, you know, was kind of we didn't know was going to happen. Like, for example, like the SD10, they couldn't run that in an attack, or they had some problems with that because there was a problem with the wiring or whatever, so the siren, that had problems, and of course we all know what happened to the P50, but by then it was pretty much already the end time anyways. But despite that, though, but aside from that, though, like, one thing that I think would be nice is if they could at least, you know, the staff can still decide what siren should sound off next, but what I think would be nice is if they could at least, maybe kind of like have a list of like what sirens are that they think should sound off in order, or at least as best as they can in order, so that way we can at least know a little bit ahead of time of what siren to hear next. And another thing it also would help is that they allow us to, you know, it would give more people a chance to be able to set up their cameras in time to be aimed at the siren that's supposed to sound off next, and, you know, do it that way. Now, maybe they do, but I don't know. I just kind of sort of miss that, but most of the time I was able to get every siren I wanted to film, so that's the part that matters. At least, you know, I mean, whoever's turn is next, they will announce it, but I just meant, like, ahead of time, you know, but again, that's just my suggestion. But another thing, here's another thing that I really think they should do. And this one, here's the part that kind of pissed me off. And it didn't only piss me off, but it also pissed off several other siren enthusiasts as well. When they were doing the mini sirens, there was too many people huddled together around, like, their sirens, or, you know, all the mini sirens and such like that, and it doesn't allow people who want to film the siren being heard sounding off. It doesn't give people a chance to be able to see it because they're being blocked by people gathered around or huddled around siren. One of them in particular was that mini hurricane. Oh my gosh, that mini hurricane it sounded fabulous, and it was probably the best, in my opinion. I think it was just the best mini siren out there. But the problem is, I couldn't get a good video because people were huddled around the siren. I'm like, get out of the way! Get out of the way! It's like, if you're going to do that, you know, stand somewhere, like, stand behind the siren or away from the camera shots, you know. Have people a chance to see the mini sirens. Get out of there, okay? Only have the people that are going to sound off their mini sirens at the moment they're going to do it be in the siren grounds, and the rest behind the caution tape. Okay? That's the way it should be. Now, in this case, like for this year, I kind of felt like it was done a little bit awkwardly or not in the way how it should have been. And because of that, I find it very annoying that, people are just standing in front of sirens when people are trying to film a siren sounding off. It's like, stop it, okay? Now, sometimes they may not realize it, but just because they don't realize it, it's no excuse as to why there needs to be that many people huddled around one siren like that. And another thing that I think is kind of dumb is that many of these people that brought their sirens came in kind of late. They came in like almost at the last minute. It's like, here's what I think it should be. Okay, now the staff can decide upon this because I don't make the rules, but here's just what I believe in my point of view it should happen as. It should be mandatory that anyone who's had authorization to have their sirens sounded off at SirenCon, they need to have their sirens already there on Friday, the previous day, before the actual event. The way how I see it, if they show up on the same day as the event, they shouldn't even be allowed to sound off their sirens because they came late. Or at least even if the event hasn't started yet, it doesn't matter. They should be there and ready to go. That's the way how I feel it should be, okay? That's why Josh encouraged several people to try to show up at least no later than Friday. And some people didn't do that. Like, they came in like kind of early, like, late. Like, they came in on Friday and, I meant on Saturday, and, they didn't really, they were basically they were just setting up at the last minute when they were supposed to be ready a while ago. It's like, what is wrong with this? Like, hello? Now, maybe, I don't know what the deal is on that, but the way how I see it, every siren that is supposed to be sounding off on the scheduled day should already be in place before the day happens. Especially, now the big sirens, that part is usually there, but the mini sirens, even that should be in position too, Have the sirens that are expected to sound off, whatever time the staff says, they should and such like that, have them in position already, At least, do it that way and, make sure the siren is tested, if possible, before, make sure it's running properly before the actual event. Now, if something goes wrong, it just happens, We can't really expect every siren to always function no matter what, because, there's bound to be some mishaps, and believe it or not, that has happened, and it does happen, and it even sort of practically happened with my wheel-in, but despite that, though, at least, the main thing I loved was that everybody was impressed with my wheel-in, and because they loved my wheel-in, and many of them even kept claiming it was like the loudest siren of SirenCon, or one of the loudest, which I think is a little bit of an understatement, but but I appreciate that. But here's the thing, because they were impressed with my wheel-in, I should bring it back next year, because they loved it, and I kind of feel, you know what, who would I be to let them down on that? So, next year, if Josh lets me, I'm sure he will, I will bring my wheel-in 3000 to Siren Con in 2025. So you have my word for it. I will attempt to bring my wheel-in 3000 with my analog controller again to Siren Con next year. And I'm going to make sure my batteries are really fully charged. I actually thought they were charged, or they looked like they had enough juice in them, because when I took the battery testers, they were reading at 11 point something, and it looked like it was fine, but, even putting in or when I swapped in different batteries, or someone that used somebody else's batteries, it eventually did the same thing too, so I guess I gotta really make sure my batteries are completely fully charged. So, because I was proven to be able to do that on June 9th, after SirenCon, at least, okay, so as long as I made sure I tried to do it this way, hopefully it'll go as I planned and hoped it would. But either way, but again, you really should have your sirens already in place the previous day before the event. Don't bring it in the event. If you do, just in my point of view, I can't make the decision, but the way how I see it, if you bring it in on the day, of the event, you should be disqualified because you're late. It's kind of disrespectful to be late, and it's like, I mean, I understand people may have issues, but you know what? You should think you had plenty of months to think ahead of time, to think about taking time to, make sure that your sirens, have your stuff there the previous day before it happens. And think about this, when you have, work, it's like, if you have to work and you can't make it to SirenCon, let the staff know. So that way, let them know ahead of time, so that way they know what to expect, And I kind of feel like that needs to be worked on better. Of all the things I just said, I believe that's what should be worked on better. But again, I'm not going to criticize the staff for that, because the way how I see it, the staff worked so hard on organizing this event, and what they do and all that they do, I kind of feel sort of bad for them, because it looks very stressful, and it's not something I feel like I can handle alone. It's like, man. So Josh Smerler, if you happen to see this and you hear it from me, I just want to thank you so much for all your hard work and all that you do for trying to get, SirenCon to go the best that we can get it, or the best it can be done as, so it meets everybody's happiness and the fact that it's worth it, So Josh, thank you so much for all the hard work that you do. I asked if you could please keep that up. You do so well. Please, thank you for that. Thank you for that. But, again, just some suggestions. I'd say bring your sirens the day before. Most of them do, but the thing is that, again, not all of them did, and, some of them were kind of, not, in position, or at least set up, or at least, be there early enough and make sure, kind of give proper communication. Now, I understand it can be stressful because there's so many people you got to deal with, but, they should, I kind of wish there was a better solid list as to what sirens are expected to sound off next. Not just the big sirens, but even the mini sirens. And, kind of just, just have everything, try to plan everything in advance before doing it, Now, for this year, it wasn't completely sloppy, but it wasn't exactly what I felt was the best, because, I felt like it could have been better, and particularly the mini sirens. That's really the biggest issue I have, because the larger sirens, I think they have a better idea of how to handle that, because, we kind of, hopefully we kind of learn from past problems we've had, like one of them, like the screamer that, whoop, that one Darley screamer almost tried to do the same thing, but it didn't, and I'm glad it didn't, and then I kind of had to make a note saying, not today you don't. But, despite that, though, because, here's another thing. If you have, the better you plan the stuff, the better it is for the staff members, okay? Especially, and not just for the staff members, but for everyone, including you yourself. In the long run, it's going to make a huge difference. That's the way how I see it. That's how I feel, it should happen as, okay? Now, despite what I just said about that, Siren Con in the end, it's worth it, okay? They may not always go the way you want it to go, but despite that, though, the main thing is that you want to have a good time. And in order to have a good time, aside from the planning, which, I understand is a pain in the rump, bring mosquito spray, bring hearing protection, bring a lawn chair, bring a raincoat and more umbrellas. I kind of was not. I only had one umbrella, which was to cover my cameras, and I didn't bother to bring my raincoat because I wasn't sure how hot it was going to be. But I wish I did because I was kind of wet. The only thing that was kind of protecting me was my straw hat. So, yeah, the rain is what basically made Siren Con gloomy for me. And the fact that I apparently forgot to press record on my camera when I film my own siren sounding off, which, oh man, I was so pissed. I didn't throw a tantrum, but I felt so depressed. I was like, man, I kind of screwed up my day. I was like, man, I don't think I want to be around any much longer. I think I'm just gonna, just not care and just kind of I don't know, just kind of go aside somewhere and just feel depressed or whatever. But I don't know. I guess maybe when you just need a few minutes to, walk it off or whatever, it's a bit different. But I'm glad I stayed because I got to see more sirens that I wanted to see, and eventually I felt better. But my God, when the grand finale sirens came in, I was like, holy shit. Especially when I saw that P50, I was like, yeah! Everybody was cheering when they saw that. I was like, yeah! And then I saw that 500 T's, like, oh my gosh, yeah! And the staff tried to reassure me that I'm going to love the grand finale sirens, and I felt it was very frustrating that, it's like, well, what good is it going to be if we're not going to even know what it is, and like, what's the point? I felt so upset about it, but the staff tried to reassure me that I should stay because I am so going to love the grand finale sirens. And by God, were they right. They certainly were right on that. So, whoever tried to tell me that, if any of you have any recollection of that, thank you. Thank you for trying to point that out, because your perseverance, I felt, was done correctly. So, thank you for that. Your persistency, should I say, of encouraging me to stay, I'd say was correct. So thank you for that, because when I saw those grand finale sirens, I was like, yeah! So, yeah, I got to hear a 500T and a RM130 and a P50. And because of that, it's like, whoa. Sorry about that. Because of that, I was like, whoa, this is neat. I'm like, my God, I'm so glad I've stayed. So, God bless you, the organizers who planned this. Thank you so much for this. And for the owner who owns the P50, I believe his name is Drew, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, I'm kind of sucky as to which siren owns what in the siren community, because I'm kind of... I'm kind of bad at remembering names, so I apologize. But Drew, about your P50, despite what happened, I want to say it was not in vain, okay? Totally not in vain, okay? Because your P50, of all the hard work and everybody else who was involved on trying to help get it ready for SirenCon, and I can't imagine how much of a pain in the ass it was, and I kind of feel bad. But I'll tell you what, despite all that, I just want you to know, and I want you to hear it from me, that all the effort that was done, it was totally, totally worth it. That P50, all that hard work you did was absolutely worth it and completely necessary. Why? Well, for one thing, nobody has ever brought a P50 to SirenCon before. But the most important thing is that we got to sound it off at SirenCon. And it worked! It worked! May not have worked the way we wanted it to, and it's unfortunate as to what happened, obviously, but we got a P50, or should I say the staff got the P50, including you yourself, to run at SirenCon. Can you believe it? That's amazing. So, Drew, Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, if I said his name wrong or the owner's name wrong, go ahead and correct me if you wish. But because again, there's so many people in the siren community, and because I'm so bad at remembering different names, I apologize. But I just want to say, next year I plan to go to SirenCon again to bring my siren. And not just to bring my siren just to sound it off, but I also want to see siren enthusiasts, and I also want to hear more sirens, and maybe I'll even hear some more sirens that I haven't even heard yet, or some that I want to hear that I have heard before but like to hear again. One of them I like to hear again. I don't know if this is going to happen or not, and I don't know much details about this, but last year they had the cyclone. I want to hear a cyclone at I want to hear a cyclone at SirenCon. That'd be nice. Now, as far as the hurricane, that one was kind of hard too, but that one's up to the staff. But one siren that would be kind of cool, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but we don't know, because you know what? They told us that the P50 was not going to happen at SirenCon, and sure enough, it did. But another thing I kind of felt would be cool if they could pull this off at SirenCon is that they could somehow bring a Victory Chrysler siren. Now, they keep saying, like, oh, no, it's too loud, or, like, it might be, you know, too complicated. But you know what? How do we know that? But here's the thing. If for some reason they can't, don't worry. I'm not going to say bring it, but that would be cool if they could, because that would be, like, whoa, the ultimate siren. But anyways, any rare siren that they bring in as a grand finale siren, it doesn't even matter which, I'd say would be worth it. So I will be looking forward, I'm hopefully be looking forward as to what kind of grand finale siren is going to be for next year. We're not going to obviously know until we see it with our own eyes when it happens. So I hope it's good for next year, but I would like to hear a cyclone, or at least, you know, any other kind of rare siren, or maybe even a Century 40 V2T, or, you know, anything that's like, let's just say hard to do. You know, those would be the grand finale sirens, obviously, but I would so love to hear what more to come and such like that. But anyways, for SirenCon, for those of you that have not been there, I would encourage if you could go, but it's not that you have to go. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to. The good thing is that the ones that, let's just say, like, if you have some certain people in the community that you have issues with or kind of have a grudge against or such like that, and they happen to be there and you're there, I don't recall any fights being broken out or any arguments going on that I can think of that happened. If there has been, I wouldn't know because I never got to witness any of that, thank goodness. But they do have staff and security there to kind of try to keep things under control if possible, and I felt like they did their jobs pretty well. There were some people that were kind of going a little too far, like they were touching sirens or parts of sirens that they were not supposed to be doing, and I guess maybe it could screw them up. So, you know, I highly encourage that you be respectful to other people's property and don't touch them, especially without their permission, okay? Now, if they say it's okay, you know, do what you want, but if you're going to be messing with stuff and they haven't said anything, that's kind of, you shouldn't be doing that, you know. But aside from that, though, there's probably a lot of other things like I mentioned about SirenCon, but I think basically the parts I want to cover about SirenCon I felt like is already there, or I felt like I just did now. So I think I'm just going to leave it there and just let it, let it, you know, just be done with, should I say, for that. But aside from that, though, what do I want to... I just want to think of something else about SirenCon. I just got to try to think quick. let's see. Parking is fine. The location is good. I haven't met Elvis, the owner of the campground. I would like to, but I should. I kind of didn't really get to see more of what I should have because I was kind of busy and distracted, and because of all that combined, it kind of didn't make me be able to see other things at Siren Con or even just the campground. I did get to see the electronic up on the pole, the RE 1600. I got to see that, and I did see a Wheel and Vortex, part of their sirens on the campground as well. But you know, I didn't bother to look at, like, you know, I just only focused on the siren stuff, and that's the only thing I really cared. So at least I got to see the parts I wanted to see, but I kind of. I really do want to chat with some more siren enthusiasts in person, and I'll be glad to do that. I'll be looking forward to doing that if I get a chance. But yeah, I think things do get chaotic at SirenCon, and it could be. I can't even imagine how stressful it must be on the staff members. I kind of feel bad, but I do want to thank you all for your hard work and for your servicing and what you do, and I just ask if you could please try to keep up the hard work, because I truly believe you're doing an amazing job, okay? You're doing the right thing, you're trying your best, and because of all that combined, it really makes a difference, okay? It really does. It may not seem like it at first, but in the long run, you got to think about it. It really does. So, staff members, when you come across this video, if you do come across this video, thank you for your hard work, and please keep up the good works. And I truly believe that if you keep succeeding like this, everybody, if not most anybody anyways, is going to be proud and happy that they got to be able to do what they always wanted to do by attending SirenCon and hearing their favorite Dream Hood siren or whatever that they want, you know, in siren terms like that. So yeah, I think that's about all I want to say for now, but tomorrow I plan to film some, I'm going to be doing something a bit different tomorrow for filming some sirens, but tomorrow I will be filming a siren, but I'm also going to be filming some background sirens too, mostly. But there are some more sirens, interesting sirens, that I'm planning on filming for the rest of this year. So I ask you to stay tuned for that, and I'll be looking forward to doing some more of that and such like that. And then hopefully maybe later on this summer, I might do another West Shore service tour, because I know many of you love that. I don't know when, but I intend to do that this year again, because many of you love when I do my West Shore service tours, so I'll be looking forward to doing that whenever I get a chance, and I think that's all I need to say, and thank you all for watching.